Okay, welcome to day 16 of our prayer and fasting. And today we're going to begin to pray for our young people and our teenagers and our young adults and our children and our babies, even the ones in the womb. We're going to be praying for them, praying God's hand upon the younger generation and asking that God will touch them and God will use them for His glory. If you know of any young person that people have given up on that individual, maybe they've gone the way of drugs, gone the way of all kinds of things, and they've drifted away from all kinds of moral values. There is a rebuilding work that God promised He's going to undertake in the lives of our young people. Look at Isaiah chapter 54 verse 11. Afflicted city, lashed by storms, not comforted. I will rebuild you with stones of turquoise, your foundations with lapis lazuli. I will make you battlements of rubies and gates, your battlements of rubies, your gates of sparkling jewels, and all your walls of precious stones. What is God talking about? You know, He's giving us an image of a broken down city, an abandoned city, a city that has been ravaged, and people are crying and in mourning, and there's no end in sight to their pain. He said, listen, I'll come and rebuild you. And when God many times talk about cities, He's talking about us, He's talking about humans, He's talking about people. Okay, it's just the same way Zion represents God's people. He says, this broken down city, I will rebuild you with precious materials. Listen to me. When God takes a life that has been broken down, He can bring beauty out of ashes. That's what God can do. And look at verse 13, which is my key scripture for today. All your children will be taught by the Lord, and great will be their peace. Isn't that fantastic and amazing? It's something. God, one translation says all your children will be mentored. That means where we have failed or where we've struggled or where we think, how do we get this teaching? How do we get this understanding? God said, I'll step in and I'll be their mentor. I'll teach them my ways. I'll show them my path. You know, Samuel, as a very young child, God bypassed Eli, the priest, and went straight and began to speak to Samuel. You know, the first time God spoke to Samuel, he didn't know God was speaking. And then he went to Samuel, went to Eli, and then he said, are you calling me? He said, no. At some point, the man of God realized that Samuel was being called by the Lord. He says, next time you hear that voice, say, Lord, speak, thy servant heareth. And God began to speak to Samuel and began to communicate some things which he didn't tell or reveal to Eli. And Eli had to come to Samuel and say, Samuel, you better tell me what God has spoken to you. We want to see that happen, where God can begin to speak to our children, begin to speak to our young people, begin to communicate with them. They begin to birth vision in their hearts, even at a young, tender age. All your children will be taught by the Lord, and great will be their peace. There will be prayer points on the website. Check that. You find the prayer points for young people, teenagers, children, even babies yet unborn. We want to pray into their lives. We want to speak words of faith, words of hope. We want God to use this young generation. I'm telling you, there is a hand of God that is going to come upon our children if we can stand in faith, pray and believe God for the impossible. Thank you for being part of this prayer and fasting. God bless you. Thank you. Bye-bye.